One of the teams looking for both a new GM and a new head coach, the Houston Texans. They've announced that they have met with Jim Caldwell, former Colts and Lions head coach, to be the Texans head coach. Now, it's a little bit backwards to hire or to at least consider coaches before you have a GM, and it makes me wonder who's going to have the juice in Houston. And they said met. I thought there was a memo that said they can only do virtual meetings through the end of the season. Maybe they're just taking a liberty with the term, and nowadays that's how 98% of all meetings happen anyway. But Caldwell as a potential candidate to coach the Texans. That's fine as long as the next GM is on board with Caldwell being the coach of the Texans. And I'd hate to think that the Texans are thinking seriously about coaching candidates until they know who the GM is going to be, Charean.
Yeah, it seems weird, Mike, that they would meet with him now, but it does fulfill, obviously, the Rooney Rule. But I hope they're giving him serious consideration, and this isn't just to comply with the Rooney Rule, which is what it seems, frankly, right now. But I do hope if they're interviewing him, they give him serious consideration, and this isn't just to check off that box that, hey, we've done our minority interview, and now we can move on with who we really want. Let's take this seriously and interview some candidates who you really want to hire. And Jim Caldwell certainly deserves to be in that category of coaches you would seriously consider with what he did in Indianapolis and then, frankly, what he did in Detroit and what Detroit's done after he left there. But let's hope it's just not checking that box, Mike.
62-50 as a head coach. And if I recall correctly, when we were critiquing John Gruden last week, 63-79 is his record since winning a Super Bowl. So 62-50, I'm no math whiz. I think 62-50 is better than 63-79. Also won the 2009 AFC Championship with the Colts, and that banner is better than 2014 AFC finalists. So he's got that going for him as well. His banner is better than Chuck Pagano's banner in Indianapolis. Caldwell was fired by the Lions in 2017 after a pair of 9-7 seasons. The Lions stunk ever since then. And look, this was a product of Bob Quinn going in there knowing you wanted Matt Patricia. This is the dynamic that we're talking about as it relates to the Panthers.
Yes.
Bob Quinn was hired by the Lions with Caldwell as the coach, and Quinn knew he was going to hire Matt Patricia. The question is, when was he going to do it? Some general managers will wash out the coach and not give the coach a chance and rip the Band-Aid off in one motion. Others will give the coach a chance to show that the coach needs to go. The problem is Caldwell had a pair of 9-7 seasons, and it made it awkward when they finally did move on from Jim Caldwell. So I think Caldwell will be inherently sensitive to the idea, Charean, that I'd like to at least have a clue as to who the GM is going to be before you would hire me. I don't want to be in a situation where the GM that wants to get rid of me. And also, as it relates to the Rooney Rule, my sense this year, I haven't heard this, but this is just the broader circumstance and context, given so much of the emphasis that is flowing from the league office on increasing the number of minority coaches and general managers. I think teams are going to grossly over-comply with the Rooney Rule requirement, which is good. I still think at the end of the day, the owners are going to hire who they want to hire. But the more, and this is one of the reasons they came up with the Rooney Rule, the more that minority candidates are talked about and interviewed and discussed and considered, the thinking is that it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy that those individuals get opportunities at some point. But I think we're going to see significant overcompliance. None of this check the box, do the bare minimum, the crap that the Texans pulled a couple of years ago, and I can't say all due respect because it was crap. They fire Brian Gaine. They want Nick Caserio. They pre-interviewed two minority candidates. I think it was Ray Farmer and another one. If you know it, shout it out. And then they decided they couldn't get Caserio, so we're not going to have a GM. Never mind the fact that we interviewed two minority candidates. We're just good. We're good. We're fine with what we have. I think Rod Graves was at the Fritz Pollard Alliance at the time. Whoever was running at the time was not happy with the way that was handled. And I don't think we're going to have that this year. We're going to have over-compliance, and that's a good thing. And we'll see ultimately whether the Texans or anyone else will hire a minority GM or a minority head coach. But where we are right now, 5 GMs, 3 coaches, 2 weeks to go in the regular season, and we'll see how many more, Charean, openings come. I think we've seen the bulk of them already. I think teams want to get a head start. I don't think we're going to have a big avalanche of firings after the regular season ends.
Jacksonville, Jets, who else, Mike? That may be it. That may be all we're looking at as far as head coaches go the rest of the way. That we probably have seen the bulk of those.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.